What's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? We're gonna make a Smite tier list for the end of the year. Make sure you guys know what are the best gods. This tier list is gonna be for the gods in general, which gods you should be picking, which gods you shouldn't be picking. Very straightforward. Which gods are the best? Which gods can be picked right off the bat in the top 3 picks, and which gods are just shit right now and you should not be playing. So we'll start. There's a ton of gods, so we'll start pretty quick. This is gonna be an in general tier list. This is not according to competitive or professional play, because if that was the case, you would ban Afro against Dardes, and Afro is not going to be S tier. So like I said, that's too situational. I'm going to give you guys the gods where I think they are, and when where they should be picked and where they shouldn't, and how often you should be picking these gods. That's what this is about. So hope you guys enjoy, and drop your comments below and just tell me what you guys think. Achilles, S tier. Why Achilles an S tier? He's super consistent, always consistent. Has an execute, consistent damage. He dominates lane at post 9. Can deal with the best solo laners in the game right now. Definitely S tier. Agni, A tier. Just an amazing damage dealer. His dash is pretty predictable. So like Fenrir, Emir, certain guys that are good versus dash, make him pretty weak. No CC immunity, so that just drops him in the A tier. He is just he's solid. He's definitely a solid character, and that's why he's A tier. Musin Cobb, I'm gonna say B tier. He's definitely went up little by little. And we're just gonna have A, B, and C. Actually, we'll add a tier. We'll add D. B tier for Musin. I would say C tier. He just doesn't feel that good. He does a ton of damage, but he just dies. And in this meta right now, I feel like he just kind of falls over in any spot of the map. There's too many enclosed areas. He just can't get off his damage. And what's the point of making damage? Puash, you guys already know where I'm putting that character. D tier. I just think he's just garbage. He really is. I mean, he's only like decent versus counter healing, and even then, there's better options. So you're really not gonna pick up Puash. I'm a S tier most definitely. Can flex, obviously supports solo. Can even throw her in jungle. Her aura is amazing. She has I think one of the best ults in the game. CC immunity for like what, 3 to 4 seconds, and at the end it stuns, it slows, it does damage, all the CC you would want. And just in general, very hard to kill and can zone very easily. I think on her with his new buff is either S or S plus. We'll leave him an S for now. His jump, which was really predictable before, got buffed, so now it's faster, harder to read. One of the longest CC immunity ults as a hunter, and just in general, a good character. He has great self peel against a lot of these assassins that want to dive. Tsukuyomi set, Serket, ton of them, and so that's why he's in the S tier. Anubis is in the B tier. Twig has obviously showed that he's good enough to be banned, and I'm sure they're using him in scrims right now. And he's always been pretty decent. He can just blow up anyone, and that's his job. And if you build hybrid, he's good at blowing up objectives. And if you build hybrid, tank, and full lifesteal, he definitely feels pretty hard to play against. So Anubis is B tier. This is actually something you guys might be like question mark, but if try him out in mid, buy Bancrofts, Typhons, some Ethereal, and some armor, pretty good. Quang just feels like he's just like decent at everything, and I feel like that's a problem. Like Quang has good damage, and the worst thing is that he has no CC. If he has any CC, he would be, I think, B tier. But just only having a slow and his ult as CC, and it's not even that good of CC, I just feel like it makes him really weak. And the damage he outputs right now just isn't enough damage to make up for those lackluster CCs. So that's why he's C tier. Aphrodite, I think Aphrodite's A tier. Obviously it depends on the comp that you're playing, but she does her job, and she's really, you actually have to counterplay her. Like if you don't counterplay the Afro, she will carry the game by herself. So with that being said, that's why she's A tier. If you're a mid laner, try her out, see how you feel. Try to get like a warrior that's in your jungle or your solo that you can just kiss, or your guardian, and just run around with them, and her wave clear is really good, her pressure is good, and she makes the game infinitely harder. Apollo. I think Apollo's A tier or B tier. I would say probably B. I would say A. He feels pretty good right now. His dash got sped up. That's a little buff. Doesn't really change him though, but his passive has always been so good for this this meta of hunters and attack speed and overcapping and crit. I mean, he just always feels pretty good. And the new buffs little by little ramping up on him, like his getting his passive off his ult and his 3 and his 1 and just in general. And they buffed his 1 recently, base power. So I feel like he's in a pretty good spot. You could definitely use him if you're a hunter or if you main ADC, and if you're a mid, try him out too. You can do like a different type of build. You can do the gloves. You can do the transcendence where you stay up in the air forever. Try it out. Check it out. Arachne, I think Arachne's C tier right now. She does hyper carry the lower end games. We'll put her at B tier because she hyper carries the lower end games. She definitely hyper carries the lower end games with like items like Serrated Edge and all the bows and stone cutting and whatnot. But she's really easy to just commit on and get her beads and get her ult, and then she really just can't come in ever again because she just insta dies. So that's why I think she's not that good. No way she's A tier, S tier. So B tier is just being nice. Aries, I think Aries is A tier because he could definitely be exposed, but if you're a good Aries player and you have him in support or solo, he definitely feels much better. You got that buff with HP 5 on his 2, so I feel like that's a big buff for him. Definitely very strong. So that's why we're going to leave him in A tier. Artemis is B tier. Same problem as always, immobile. She can't really do much, but when she does do stuff, it's going to wipe your whole team with Boar. So there's no in between. It's just you either kill everybody with Boar or you die. So that's my problem. Artsaavy got buffed recently, so if we're talking about pre-buff or post-buff, we'll talk about post-buff because you guys, by the time you guys catch this video, buff probably be out. She got a buff to her ult and her passive, if I'm not mistaken. Longer durations, which is a big buff for me, at least. And she's always pretty good. Her cripple's mad annoying. Her sustain is really good. She can be played solo support. If you're a solo laner, try her out versus people like Arthur or Tyr. She definitely owns. And her sustain is just really good. Her self-sustain, she could definitely body people. She can one-tap people. Like as a support, one of the guardians, she's definitely one of the stronger guardians, just being able to zone carries because of her damage. Very similar to Aries, in my opinion. Athena's just B tier. She just has her global. She's great at being global, but the problem with her is her taunts, and her play is very simplistic and very easy to play around. And that's why she sits there. Not much more for me to say. A Willix. Willix is a niche character. I think I'm gonna leave this an A tier for ranked players, guys. If you're a jungler and you don't have a Willix in your kit, you need to watch some YouTube videos on a Willix. That will give you so much MMR. I literally carry games all the time with a Willix. Definitely, if you're a jungler, try her out, play her, give it a chance. It's gonna be, you have to obviously know when people are gonna get knocked up or when people are jumping. It's all about timing. But her 2 damage and 3 damage, I feel like is a little bit over the top, especially against these players that don't play against Willix often. So try her out if you're a jungler. I think she is a very strong jungler. So that's why we're gonna put her A tier. Baby Yaga. I think Baby Yaga is either C tier or D tier. We'll leave her at C tier. She just feels like her early game, mid game is fine. Like when you stack and you're fully stacked with Warlock and Book, you're like, wow, like so much power. But if you commit on her, her dash is horrible. Her leap is horrible, and her ult is horrible. So the character is just kind of trash. It's cute. The stacking is cute, but just shit character in general. Bacchus is a B character. What does he do? He does his damage. I think he's actually a little underrated right now. I mean, if you're a support and you want to carry your ranks, Bacchus is someone you should definitely have in your kit. He can do a lot. His damage is good. His stun is good. His counter lifesteal, his prots, his power. In general, I think the kit is pretty self-explanatory and it does a lot. So I think a lot of the times if you're a support, you can carry games with Bacchus. I think Bacchus has definitely fallen off. He used to be he fell off. He used to be pretty good. But he's been nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. He got nerfed like 3 times in a row because Golden Blade got buffed. And he just feels pretty weak right now. I think he's an ult bot. And if you don't get like 2 kills with your ult, he feels really bad. So that's why he's going to be sitting in the C tier right there with AO. Baron. I think Baron's in an A tier right now. He feels pretty decent, at least from what I've seen. I think his sustain is really good. His damage is decent. He can be played support. He can be played mid. He's an okay soul laner. All around, not too bad. Definitely just settles in that A zone. You could throw him if you want to try him mid. I don't see a problem. The healing is Loki, pretty OP in my opinion. So that's where he's at. I get a lot of questions about Bastet. Where is Bastet? I think she's just a damage provider, and she just sits at B. Is she a niche character? What the hell happened? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. I was on Bastet. So, guys, we're talking about Bastet. Arachne was B? No way. Nah, Baba's D. Artemis was B. Arachne. I guess Arachne because she carries rank games. Alright, Baba C? Baba's shit though, man. Baba's bad as fucking Apache. There, I said it. Character shit. I'm leaving her Baba at D. So what we switched around was Baba was C, and I moved her down to D. I think she's straight garbage. So I'm not even gonna be nice. I don't give a fuck. Bastet is she just provides damage. She just provides damage. That's all she does. There's nothing more than that. So yeah, she's okay. She's nothing special. Balona, where's Balona? She got a buff, so we'll say post buff. She's probably gonna be sitting at B, I think, as a solo laner. Before the buff, she's probably C. But she got a buff on the length that she has her weapons and her passive, which are pretty nice buffs. So we'll say Balona definitely at B. Cabrakan definitely feels like an S tier character. I think in all my tier lists, I've always said he's a very underrated character. And as of recently starts to pop, I think he has one of the best win rates from Diamond up. And so if you play jungle, you play solo, you play support. I think preferably solo and support. He definitely shines. So that's where we're going to put it. That's where we're going to put Cabroken. I'm going to leave Baby Yaga D. That character's trash. Camazotz, where you gonna go? I'm gonna say he's a B character. He actually was way higher back in the day in my tier list, as I remember, if I remember correctly. But he definitely just fell off. They nerfed his damage a bit, and that's really all he brought to the table. But now he's like just a character, like I said, just like Bastet, brings damage to the table. These okay sustain, but just doesn't do more than that. So definitely a B character. Serb I think is S tier, as well as the support role. If you're a support player or solo, you should definitely have Serb in your kit. He's really good, and once you start landing the ones consistently, I feel like the character has a really bloated kit. Cern. I think Cern is a A tier ADC that has went under the radar a lot. Like he just doesn't get used ever, but I think he's really good, and especially in this meta. And I think he has pretty good self peel with the root and the ult. And his sustain is really good. And I think nobody's used him in competitive, because competitive has been like a 3-slot ADC / Cupid every game type of thing. So we'll see. Chak got buffed on his ult. He got a bunch of mitigation, 70% mitigation on his ult. Yeah, that's awesome, but the character's dirt. So it's a C character. He just slows and has a silence. He's a very awesome lane bully, but then after that he does nothing in team fights. So if you don't get really ahead and rotate a Gold Furies and 5-man ult people, he's kind of useless. Changa has been kind of in the meta again. A tier. I would say A tier. She's nice. Her ult, Waxing Moon, feels like it's a pretty low CD for what it brings to the table. And you're guaranteed to get actives off that Waxing Moon. She's pretty hard to kill, and she has decent damage. The only part... Actually, I think I'm going to put her B. I feel like the problem with her right now is just getting off her damage. She doesn't have any long range damage. You just ult, and if you beat that, you feel, she doesn't really do much. So you have to kind of just like W key. Churnbug, I think Churnbug sits right there with Cern. You forget Chak is getting a buffer. I just literally said, that's literally what I just talked about when I talked about Chak. Cern, no, I think just seeing Churnbog at A tier and seeing Cern there doesn't feel right. So we'll keep it my B tier. That's sometimes what happens with tier lists. It doesn't feel right seeing these characters next to each other. So I feel like it's pretty fair to put Churnbog a little bit higher than Cernos. Having the CC immunity, the invulnerability on his dash. The ult is great. He's hard to kill, and he has a great steroid and just really good DPS in general. So I feel like the character's in a pretty good spot. Chiron, man, Chiron's kind of fell off. I feel like he doesn't do enough damage for what his kit is. Like maybe if they buffed his ult or the base damage on his one or something, but he just kind of feels like every other hunter does a lot more than him. He has good long range damage with his ult, but that's about it. The cleanse is cute, but the dash is kind of predictable. And if he just doesn't do enough DPS, I feel like his auto animation isn't that good. So just sits at B. He's okay. I think Colonel sits kind of in the same spot. He feels pretty weak. He just doesn't have those items that really just put him over the top. He's been nerfed a bunch of times on his 2, so he just whatever. He's just stun one in combo, and then ults, absorbs damage, and hope you get your ult off. Pretty much type of character. Cthulhu. I think Cthulhu is definitely an S tier, if not S plus. Kind of hard to say if he's S tier or S plus. I would say S tier. He's definitely very strong, but not like unbeatable. Not like you have to first ban it. So definitely, yeah. If you're a solo laner, you need that character in your kit. That's pretty much it. If you play solo, you need this character, and you can use it when you find an opportunity where you feel like they have low DPS. Because if they don't have consistent damage, your ult is gonna destroy them. Choo Choo. I think Choo Choo's an A tier, maybe B tier. I think you have to be a special type of player to make him work. You have to really know the ins and out of the character. You have to know when you're going to fight according to your stacks. And he's not really good, He's not really good in just consistently fighting at Gold Furies nonstop. He has to reset and stack, which I feel like is a problem. So that's why he sits at B tier. Cupid, I mean, is the first S plus tier character. He has got nerfed, but we'll see where those nerfs really put him. But as of now, I definitely think he's one of the best hunters in the game. His ult just makes it really easy to team fight. Description for me, just God. If it's up, pick it. I think it's a pretty self-explanatory S tier right there. Dodgy. I mean, yeah, like I said, Cupid's just self-explanatory. He's just broken. His sustain is insane. Loki healing, great steroid. Double CC, makes team fighting really easy. Just OP. Dodgy. A tier, very situational. Depends on how much CC immune ults they have. If they don't have, it's just very similar to Aries, but just an assassin version of him. Discordia is actually pretty good. I think she's underrated. I think she's strong. I think she's definitely an S tier mid. I look at Agni and I feel like Discordia shouldn't be where Agni is. I think Discordia brings more to the table than Agni. Her 2-1 combo is amazing for damage to late game. Her passive is really good. For pushing certain sides of the map. Her ult, pretty long CC immune ult that does a lot, spreads out the map. And her 3 is a pretty good escape that lets the turn and burn happen. So Discordia is, if you're a mid laner, definitely have this in your kit and learn her. Erlangus fell off a good amount. He was, I think, probably S tier maybe like a month or 2 months ago. But he feels like just a little bit weaker, and I think people just adapted to how to play against him. Obviously, waiting for his dash, knowing when his ult's going to come out, knowing the type of damage he brings out with Concise. But he's just a strong jungler. He definitely snowballs a lot. Very similar to a Willix. He can run games in the early mid game. He could just run them. He could just run to every lane. He doesn't need his ult to kill people. He just needs, he has so much CC within his kit and damage within his one that he could just run around and create tons of space for the team and pressure the whole map. Faf, what do you want to do when I come for you? Faf in general is just a great character, a great support. He's never going to be bad. Never going to be bad. He just does what he does. He's great. He has a great late game. He has an okay early game. So I think S tier is a pretty nice spot to put him. If you're a support, you should definitely have Faf in your kit. He brings so much late. He can carry late game team fights, and he guarantees objectives. So definitely pretty good character. Fenrir is actually maybe jumped up a tier. He's maybe A or B. I feel like he's way stronger than he was before, probably like 2 months ago, before where he was probably one of the worst assassins for a while, not including Arachne and whatnot. But he definitely feels stronger right now with the hybrid builds coming out, with Pridwin being as strong of an item, and that hammer that that name will never stick in my head, but the OP hammer being in the game. Fenrir definitely doesn't feel bad. Just going on people, ulting them, grabbing the beads, and brutalizing and initiating for your team. Freya. That's weird. She's in a weird spot. I don't know if she B tier. I think she's B tier. The items don't go her way. Her ult is good for damage, but she's just so easy to bait her ult. She doesn't have enough turn and burn to make you scared. Her late game is late game. It's Freya. She's gonna one tap people, but I feel like if you just get a hybrid assassin to just jump on Freya, there's nothing she's gonna do. Ganesh. I think Ganesh is between A tier and S tier. It's really hard to say, but I think A tier is just a more consistent spot. Is he ever bad? No. Is he better in some spots? Of course. But he does what he does. He brings a good amount of damage, an insane silence, a lot of prots. I think he's just really good. He could be in the S tier for me, but we'll leave him at A. Geb being kind of in that same spot as Ganesh, but Geb does have a weakness with that early game being very weak, but his late game is one of the best, and it definitely makes up for it, no doubt. Guan Yu, what you gonna do when I come for you? It's between S or S plus. I think I want a little bit more characters in the S plus, and I think Guan is definitely just so strong. Support, solo, jungle, however you want to do it. Like I said, hybrid builds are great, and when hybrids builds are great, Guan Yu is great, and his sustain, nevertheless, one of the best warriors with healing. So definitely up there. Hachiman is, I think, very similar to like on her. It was a great CC immune ult. He survives. He has good in. He has good out. And he's just a consistent hunter if you want to play him. So I think if you're a hunter, you need to have Hachi on her, Cupid in your kit, no doubt. Hades, unfortunately, my boy, man. I love me some Hades sometimes, but damn, bro, he's just so shit. Like, he's so good if no one in the game has a dash or escape, but that's not the case. So character's dirt. Hebo. I think Hebo's an S tier. Very consistent mage. Some of them shine more with this character, but it is what it is. If you do see this character, definitely lock him in jungle mid. He's going to bring the damage. He has a potential to hyper carry. They did nerf him a little bit on his base damage, but not enough for me to say he's out of the S tier. So pick up Hebo if you see him. Yo, Prod, thanks for the 19 months. KY, thanks for the 9 months. Greatly appreciate it. Trying to run through this as fast as possible so you guys can get as much information out of it. If you guys want to skip to the end and just check out where these gods are and where they're not, definitely we could do that. Let's zoom out a little bit for you guys. I think that'd be nice for you guys so you guys can see a little bit more. Yeah, that seems nicer. That's definitely something I should have done. We need to make the end of it the thumbnail. Heim. You see, Heim is S tier. Heim is S tier. Heim is the only ADC that can match Cupid, and it's not even matching Cupid. It's just a different field that you're running on. Maybe Rama's definitely up there as well. But Heimdall definitely a S plus tier hunter. Very hard to pick off. Great self peel as an assassin. If it's a Heimdall, if it's a Cupid, I feel way better about running on him as well as on her. But Heim has such great self peel, such great damage, consistent with his autos, a slow, a knock up, and his 3 is probably one of the best escapes in the game, and his ult is very good as well. Niflheim OP shit. An assassin player speaking about it though, so don't take. I'm a little biased. Hell. You see, Hell's an S tier mage. She's S plus tier if there's lack of counter healing within the kits. I don't think brawlers is enough, and itemization isn't enough. And her DPS is insane. Her survivability is insane. She counters a lot of characters right now. She's just a very, 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 very solid pick. And she guarantees wins you games. You have to full commit. She puts you in a weird spot. She puts you in a winning condition when you're playing against her. Losing condition. Hera's just really good. I don't think she sits in that S with Heva and Hell. I think it depends on the player that's running her. But she's just very consistent damage. She's hard to kill, and she has a very easy ult to play around. You just drop it on 2 or 3 people, and you did your job. It's a ton of damage. But good players can make her look S tier for sure. But I think definitely not as good as Hell and Hebo if you're trying to, you know, get some MMR. Hercules kind of fell off a little bit, man. Not even sure if you can put him in S. I don't feel right putting him in S. I feel better A. He feels like the aggressive support still. He's very strong, but his bullying is a lot less since they nerfed his passive, and it is what it is. It's just an A tier support, and he's not that good at solo. I feel like he's pretty weak in solo right now. Horus is an A tier support. He makes fighting really easy, but it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of hard to coordinate with your team when you're ulting and stuff, especially in ranked. So, but he makes a team with like skirmishes and like 3v3s and 2v2s and ganks really easy for committing and making sure everything lines up. So Horus is pretty decent. Definitely, it's just a very solid support. And I feel like he's fair, you know, sitting next to Ganesh and Geb. Hu Yi, definitely an A tier ADC, no better than that. Obviously no CC immune ult, but he is very, very, very good at W keying, committing to objectives, and has an amazing team fight and amazing 1v1 potential. Hunbots, bro. Hunbots, we have not seen Hunbots in a while, hey guys. A little bit in the SPL, one or two picks, but I think he's pretty damn strong right now, man. I feel I've been running him a good amount, and I don't really see too many weaknesses. His early game is much better with the 3 bounce. I think he's been under the radar in my opinion for a while now, especially in competitive. So that's my reasoning. I think he's definitely an S tier jungler. He's so consistent. You can definitely top pick him. You don't feel bad about top picking him ever. Just a strong support. I mean, sorry, jungler. Isis is a dirtbag. B tier. She's just always going to be where she's at because she has a great early game, great objective. But once you initiate on her and you bait her ult in like a late game team fight, she's dead. She's so useless. So, but her skirmishes, mid game and late game are good. I would say in ranked, I'd probably use her if you just want to like steamroll people. She's really good at just like making the other team tilt in like the early mid game, running at red buffs and whatnot. But outside of that, in a late game team fight, she does nothing more than other mages just do infinitely more. Better than Baby Yaga? Yes. Isis is infinitely better than Baby Yaga. Baby Yaga is trash. Literal trash, that character. Tsunami. At least Isis has a stun, slow. And it's good and a decent ult. Tsunami. Tsunami's either B tier or C tier. She has great pressure in lane, obviously with her autos coming back. But how do you use that pressure? It's kind of hard to position aggressively with her 3. Like you just kind of like you just kind of push lanes well. You're good at Gold Furies and Fire Giants and Towers, but you really don't do much more outside of that. She doesn't really have that good a chase. She has okay bursts between her 2 and ult, but that's pretty much what she is. Janice, I'm sure this one's obviously a biased one for me, but if I had to look at it from an average player perspective, I would say he's probably like B tier as well. He just doesn't. He's hard to commit damage. You have to read the map well. You have to know where the portals are. You have to know how to combo properly. You have to know when to use a portal aggressively, when not to. And his ult isn't a guaranteed damage, so definitely a B tier character. But if you play him like me. But Yingwei is an S tier ADC. She always will be. She's so hard to kill, and she does do damage. And she has crit in her kit. She can go kin size and a crit. One of the only characters that can do that. So Jingwei is just solid. We know what she is. She's real good. Joram got buffed recently, but I don't know. He feels kind of weak right now, man. And it's weird to see Joram such a low tier, but he definitely feels really weak right now for me. I feel like he doesn't do much. Just doesn't do much of anything. Kali. I think Kali's an A tier jungler. She can definitely hybrid carry game. She has an insane late game. But when you know how to play against her and peel her, she feels just like a solid jungler. Definitely, you can't put her in S tier, and you don't want to put her at B tier because she does have the potential to hybrid carry. If you're a jungler, you should have her pretty well mastered because she can win games for you. Capri is definitely an S tier support. So you would beg to differ. Like you would always compare Geb and Capri, and I think Capri's just a little bit better right now. I think it's because Capri doesn't have a dirt ass early game. Like at level 8, 9, he 6, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He doesn't feel like straight Dookie. Like Capri, you still want to invade red buffs. You still want to defend your red buffs. You still want to invade. Like you still want to fight. You know, you're not scared of fighting. Gabby, you just kind of want to sit in lane and just stay under the radar and not fight. But so he's a very solid support. If you're a support, you should have him in your kit. He can definitely set up for tons of plays and make crazy outplays. King Arthur is still S plus in my opinion, regardless of the nerfs, regardless of everything. He gets pressure regardless. He does so much in team fights. He is great to pick up. Whenever I was a solo laner, I would spam this character every game and just fucking win lane, invade blue buffs, and then do massive amount of damage into the late game. He's like the only solo laner that can do like more than hunters in a 40-50 minute game and mages. He's like literally the only one. I don't really think maybe Cthulhu is the only one, but even then King Arthur just does more. Depends against the comps. Obviously it cripples and whatnot, but King Arthur is there. Cuckoo feels pretty dookie right now. B tier. Guan versus KA, they're just different solo laners. Guan, I mean, KA wins that lane after a while, but winning lane meaning doing more damage. Guan just sustains it. And then when it comes to the team fight, Guan is just healing his team and making it easy to win fights and set up for his team, while King Arthur is zoning, so it's just a different type of fight. Obviously, Guan can zone, but it's a different type of zone, in my opinion. I think they're just different styles. Kumba, Kumba's good. Under the radar. He's definitely an A tier support. He does his thing in the support role. But you have to be good at him. You have to understand him. You have to understand who you're sleeping, why you're peeling, who you're ulting. But his kit definitely is an A tier kit, no doubt. Kumba's D tier? I don't think so. I think Kumba's pretty good. Kuzembo is definitely an S tier support, if not S plus. He's always strong. But that's what we said for Faf too, so I don't feel too bad about putting him in S tier. Because I don't feel like you'd first pick Kuzin, so that's why I don't put him S plus. But he just does what he does. The returning damage, he solos your carries. His 3 can make a huge impact in team fights as well as his ult. So definitely an S tier support because that was really good. If you want to hyper carry support games, pick Serb, Kabrakan, and Kuzin. Trust me. Loki. Tank Loki is definitely very solid, man, in A tier. He did get nerfed a little bit, and not really, like, nerfed. He didn't get nerfed that hard. They just want you to build more damage, so they put more scaling on him and less on the base power, so you can't build tank as often. But I don't think that hurts him enough. Loki is pretty good. Kind of crazy to see Loki at A tier, huh? Haven't seen that in a while, so it feels good, man, seeing Loki at A tier. He's pretty good. I feel nice about him. Medusa feels pretty bad. Medusa's dash is just not good. And her ult is okay. Her 2 is okay. Like she's just okay at everything. She reminds me a lot of Chiron. She's not like really good at anything. Mercury. I think Mercury is an A tier jungler. He can be S tier, but with the amount of thorns that are running around right now, I think Merc just unfortunately doesn't fit that spot as often. But Merc is so amazing at hyper carry games. I'm sure you guys have seen my YouTube videos with me hyper carrying a Merc. I do it all the time. Big boy games, pro level games, doesn't matter what type of fucking game it is. If I have Mercury, there's a very high chance we can win. That's because his ult is amazing to get in and out of fights, mostly obviously in. Playing his dash, his slow immunity on the 2, very underrated, and obviously those big boy crits coming out and one-tapping people just make the difference. Obviously very good at doing objectives as well. Merlin is between A or S tier. We'll put him A tier just because I like to see his face there because he's been S plus and S tier for so long. This is probably the only time we could really say he's A tier. His damage has been nerfed a lot. Thorns being so strong and his damage being very easy to Thorns makes him very similar to Zeus, but obviously being way better than Zeus because he has other forms of CC. So it is what it is. My boy Merlin's no longer one of the best mages in the game. Even though in my top 5 for SPL, top 3, I did put him up there because I knew that Shinto and Darius would probably bring him out, which Shinto did. Mulan is an A tier tank. She's okay in solo, she's okay in support, but I think she has a lot of outplay potential between her 3 and her 2 sustain. But her ult is just bad. If her ult was just a little bit better, she could maybe jump into the S tier. So it is what it is. Najah's definitely fell off. She's B tier, or sorry, he's B tier. He just doesn't do enough damage. You have to build him hybrid, and yeah, he is good setup, but doesn't do enough damage in my opinion. But I still play him. I think he's fun, and he can still make it work. But if for the average player or ranked player, someone trying to be their best and know what gods are in the rotation, Najah is definitely not it. Neith is a B tier jungler. Just high power build is okay. But backflip's still very easy to predict, even though it's a little faster. And just a whatever hunter. It's okay mid. It's okay hunter. But you're not gonna hyper carry with no Neith. So I'm sorry, did I say hunter? ADC. Nemesis. Nemesis used to be one of the best junglers, if not the best jungler in Smite about like 2 or 3 months ago. But I think he's definitely fell off. A tier feels pretty fair to put Nemesis in. She's good, but there's so many counters to her, and I feel like right now the meta's pretty easy to counterplay against her. You could put her in S tier. Like if I saw Nem in an S tier, in a tier list S tier, I wouldn't feel bad. I would agree. It's between A or S, but we'll leave it at A, just because Golden Blade isn't that good. The damage, the shield is still really good, but if you CC it and you play around it, it feels pretty weak. So we'll leave it there. Nike's definitely an S tier character. That's an S plus. Like, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I hate seeing this character. Very stupid to play against, but so easy. Everything is so easy with the character, and it does so much. Definitely an S plus character. No question about it. I think better in the solo, but still can be run in the jungle. I'm sure you guys have seen my YouTube videos with Nike jungle. I actually have a diamond border Nike in ranked. So, but she just does so much, and it's very simple. It's hard to misplay. Nox has been buffed, but definitely not S tier. You guys got debated. A tier is fine. The one got buffed to go through minions, so the clear is better. So she's a better mid laner on paper. It actually goes through, the one goes through walls as well now, so better in general. But not enough to just say, yo, she's flat out on S tier. No. She's solid now. She's definitely solid. Just solid. That's all you can say. Nuwa's an A tier. A lot of A tier characters, huh? Nuwa's A tier for sure. Just does a lot of damage, but really easy to just get picked. But great turn and burn, and just the ult is the ult. Just stupid. Odin will always be A because it's counter pick. It's all about the counter pick. It's about, is the cage good? That's what you ask yourself when you're gonna pick Odin. Yes, pick it. No, okay. Why not just play any other warrior? Odin fell off hard. I feel like he's really easy to play around. His ult being such a long CD timer makes the character feel like if you whiff the ult or you get a bad ult placement, the fight is over and the character just feels really bad. So kind of similar to Janice, right? If you hit a 2-man, 3-man ult, wow! But if you don't hit the ult, then the fight's over. Kind of very similar to ult run. And the items just not being good for Mage ADCs. Osiris. I think Osiris is definitely an A or S tier. Where did Osiris go? Osiris disappeared. Osiris, are you there? Well, rest in peace, my boy Osiris. Wow, he really just disappeared. Whatever. He's in the S. Next to Hera. Oh, there you are. Sorry, Papa. Nice to see you. Osiris, you know, Osiris is tough, man, because he can be an S tier character, but he's definitely an A tier character. Like, the best of the best make him look really good because they don't miss a damn mechanic, and he has great snowball and he has great fight. But if you're not landing everything, you just kind of does nothing. It's just like there's either you're popping off or you're doing nothing. There's no in between with Osiris. Pele reminds me a lot of what I pretty much just said. Osiris, like she pops off early game, but her late game is very not that good. Even in the hybrid builds right now, she doesn't feel too good going full hybrid. So if she felt good going hybrid, full hybrid, she'd probably be an S tier, but A tier feels pretty fair. Purse is S tier. They did just nerf her. They definitely just did nerf her. I don't know. They might bump her down to A tier with the nerf. So it takes, if you don't hit directly with the ult, it takes three autos to knock it off the person. So 3 autos is a big difference from 5. And then what else did they nerf? I don't remember what else they nerfed. But yeah, she got bumped down. She might get bumped down. We'll see. Poseidon. We saw Van pop out with Poseidon. I feel like Poseidon is really consistent right now. I feel like he could be S. I feel like, yeah, I'll bump Poseidon to S. I feel pretty confident about doing that. I play a lot of Poseidon myself in the jungle and mid. So before he used to be a Kraken bot, and if you have Aegis, he just feels really bad. But I don't know. I think with more understanding of the Trident, I think the damage, the DPS levels are much higher, and poison dagger just makes him feel like he does a ton of DPS regardless of not having his 3-1 combo up. And Van definitely put down display. So if you got a mid, if you play mid jungle, definitely rip with this character. Raw, we all know where this character is. He did get nerfed. But it took away the power and the processing a little bit on the healing. But the healing is the healing, and he's just great damage. I feel like you can pick it up if you see it. Whenever you see it, pick it up. It's not bad. It's never bad. It's always good. Raijin. Damn, Raijin fell off hard, man. Raijin is probably like C tier right now, man, or B tier. Probably C. What's some C? His damage is just so low. And that character is full Cadis damage. I mean, yeah, he has some slows, and yeah, he can taunt, but that's his ult, and he just feels bad. Rama's definitely in the S plus field. He's always good. He always will be good. Tons of DPS. Great roll. Great ults. Great disengage. Great steroid. Burns objectives. Autos through people. Always will be. Rat feels off right now. Maybe between A or B tier, but A tier is fine. Great early game, great mid game. The hybrid build feels fine, but he falls off late. Ravana is definitely an A tier jungler too. He just does what he does. He's good against certain kits. I feel like he's a very consistent jungler. I think it's fair to put him here because Mercury is here, and they can both hyper carry. And he's just very consistent because he has 2 CC immunities. So he's very good versus characters like Poseidon, Aries, and whatnot. But against other characters, he's just a straightforward jungler. Just does DPS. Just good burst. Scylla's an A tier mid right now. Nothing more. Just high power. Great cripple root. Always been underrated in my opinion. Never seen it used. I don't know why. I don't know why I never see Scylla in competitive. But I think as people think the damage is really easy to anticipate, but I think the cripple, the root being a 3-man cripple is kind of crazy. So I don't know. If it was up to me, in my playstyle I'd put it S tier, but since I'm trying to talk about the people in general, we'll leave it at A tier. Sir Cat feels S tier. I feel like he's really strong. I mean, it depends on how you play her and how good you are landing the 2-1s. I probably should put her in A because it's a hard character. It's not an easy character to make look good. It's a hard character to pump out a lot of damage, but if you do know how to do it, definitely an S tier character. It's kind of tough. It's between A or S. It feels kind of weird leaving Merc Rob here and Circuit's higher. I don't know. Set. We already know what we think about Set. Definitely one of the best characters in the game. I'm not the best character. Obviously, Final K showed that. I mean, I've showed you guys millions of videos. Me being the #1 ranked Set right now, like, I mean, the character just owns. I just dropped 25 kills in the game before I did this tier list on him. if you play jungle, solo, in ADC, and mid, and you don't play set, you're doing it wrong. Scotty's definitely a dookie character. Definitely a B tier character. Just it feels disrespectful even putting it next to Janice, but it is what it is. Just feels like just damage, but really easy to kill. More annoying than anything. Sobek's definitely an A tier support. No, actually, I think he's an S tier support. I think he's really self-explanatory. He does what he does. He's hard to kill. But he got nerfed, though, recently. So that might hurt him. But I don't know. I feel like he's really good. I feel like if your back's against the wall, Sobek's always a good support to go to. And he's going to do a lot. Wow. I haven't seen a character that I had to scroll down for so long. Hello, Baby Yaga and Apash. How are you doing? Actually, no, we won't disrespect Soul that much. C tier character, just disapparate. The items are really bad for the character right now. The character's kit is okay. Okay at best. And really easy to avoid most of her abilities. Wukong is definitely S tier. He could be S plus, but we'll leave him at S tier. Just consistent soul laner, consistent damage. Very hard to kill, really good escape, very annoying, disrupts team fights, similar to King Arthur, but just not as good, or could be as good. It's hard to say. He could sit at S plus. I'll put him S plus. Fuck it. Susano's an A tier jungler. He just does the damage burst. He's good at in and out. The cyclone's kind of nutty. I think he has really high base damage, and he's sometimes just under the radar. The character's always been really, really good. Sylvanas. Is just a C tier character. We'll say B. He's really good at support. If you can get a lead and get some items on and not get picked, but he gets picked for free. He got some buffs though on his attack speed and his base movement speed, so we'll see if it bumps him up to A. But Sylvanas feels pretty good. Terra, as you see, Terra's more consistent than Sylvanas in doing what he does. So Terra definitely sits at A. Very situational. You have to make sure you get your combos off. So it depends on the characters not having jumps and having dashes instead. Thanatos is a B. Just has a good execute. The scale's up, but his damage is not high enough for how much you're committing and risking with the kit. Morgan is definitely an S tier character. Insane mid, really hard to play against. Really annoying to play against in the jungle and team fights, but when it comes to late game and you're pushing Phoenixes, she feels pretty bad. But in general, can hyper carry games, and if you know how to use most of the characters, definitely can do a lot. Thor is A tier. Very consistent jungler, a lot of CC. Weaker than he was before. I think like 2 or 3 tiers, he was probably one of the best characters, but definitely nerfed him a bit, and he's hurt. Thoth is an A tier character, very similar to Agni, just straightforward damage. I don't think we've seen Thoth at all in competitive play for a while, but I've played him a good amount of ranked, and he still does a ton of damage, and he can still have those hyper carry plays if your mechanics are shining. Tsukuyomi is, I think, a little overrated right now. He's definitely just a dive jungler, and he needs to be ahead and needs items, but if he doesn't dive perfectly, you will just lose. He just guarantees dies. Like, I feel like Merc is a better Tsukuyomi if you ask me right now at diving, because that's pretty much what both characters are doing. Tier, just a lot of A characters right now, it feels, right? A lot of A characters. Tier's just solid soul laner, very solid soul laner. Will bring the CC, good against certain comps that don't have a lot of jumps. And just good sustain, just a solid soul laner. Ullr's fell off, man. Ullr's fell off. He's much weaker than he was before. He's between B or A. Just this meta doesn't really favor him at all. The items that are buffed and really strong for hunters don't really go that well with hunters being ability based. Heartseeker got hit hard. Jones feels whatever. Hydra's feels whatever. Crusher feels whatever. Especially the upgraded shell being a thing right now. Kind of sucks to see Uller there. Vamana's a A tier soul laner. Just gonna zone forever with how long of the CC immunity ult it is. Just gonna do okay damage. Just okay jungler as well. Nothing special. Just runs at you, and hopes not to hope you can't kill them. Vulcan feels okay right now. You know, Doomore being in meta. He's between B or A, but B feels more fair. I feel like he just dies. You never see him in competitive because he's so easy to kill. But in ranked, he definitely does his thing. You know, with Doom Orb, just so much power and so much combos and outplay potential with movement speed. X-Ball feels really bad right now. Very similar to Soul. Yeah, he has good autos and his power, but his ult just got nerfed pretty hard, and his dash is really easy to read, and his slow isn't really that good as CC. Jing 10. I think Jing 10 is definitely A. Just solid support. I mean, I see these supports, and I think Jing 10's up there. And he can be flex solo. I think S tier is better for Jing 10, actually. He's just been nerfed a little bit, but his HP 5 is still really good. He's just a really good character in general. He's going to do what he's going to do regardless of the characters he's playing against, which is something special. Jamoja just got hit pretty hard, but I'm going to say she's an S tier until I see more. Until I see her gameplay actually be hit hard. Ymir and Jamoja, very similar to two characters in S tier. It feels tough putting Ymir in S tier because he won't be that good against certain lineups. Very similar to Aries and Geb. Lineups that run at Geb, not good. Lineups that have a lot of CC immunity, not good versus Aries. Same thing goes for Ymir. Yeah, I'm gonna put him A tier. He's just not gonna be consistently one of the better characters in the game. Zeus C tier. All he brings is damage, and the damage isn't enough for how fast he's gonna die and get picked. Zhangqi just he definitely got bumped up. He would have been B for me, but he got a little bit base damage on his ult buff, and he got a couple buffs, so he feels a little bit better, and he does what he does, and he has good damage. He's harder to kill than most mages, and if you do kill him, he's gonna put out a ton of power. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Catch you guys later. Check it out one more time.